Okay, you're not gonna leak while I do the review? You promise? Okay. Hello, and welcome to my review of Darkest Dungeon. Yeah, I'm still making reviews, although these weird separations from reality are taking up way too much of my time. It'd be easier to stay grounded in this dimension if they'd just fix the roof already. I need to call my agent. I can't work under these conditions. It's ridiculous. Darkest Dungeon is an RPG made by Red Hook Studios. It was released as an early access title in 2015 before getting a full release in 2016. Development for the game was funded by a Kickstarter campaign that was so successful it made 4 times the original goal of $75,000. Apparently it's been super popular for years, but I only picked it up because it was on sale. You know me. The game is available on PC, pretty much every console, and iPad. Wow, people still use those? So you play as some Randy who's been left the family estate by their asshole relative who did a bunch of bad shit for some reason and opened an ancient portal that released a bunch of evil abominations. Or something. So now you've got to recruit adventurers to help get rid of these monsters that are crawling all over your inheritance. The first thing you need to know about the game is its reputation for being the Dark Souls being very difficult. The idea is you traverse various dungeons while trying to keep your adventurers alive, and if one of them dies, they stay dead. And if you're not careful, they will definitely die. Actually, it doesn't matter if you're careful, they'll die anyway. I've never been a fan of absurdly hard games, reason one being I believe games should be fun to play, and dying over and over can spoil the experience for me. I know the resounding answer to that statement is get good, but we can talk about gaming culture's pathetic attitude towards difficulty settings another time. The thing is, Darkest Dungeon was actually manageable for me. It has an easy mode. That doesn't mean the game is a cakewalk, but it's playable, and it didn't leave me too frustrated, which is a good start. I haven't been able to beat it yet, because of course I haven't, but after 30 hours of playtime, I've seen enough to give my thoughts on it. The game starts up with the opening cutscene. Every time. Every time you start the game, it plays this cutscene. Now, that's enough of that. Is there an option to turn that off? No? Well, thank God for launch options. With that issue dealt with, it's time to start the campaign. Ignore my meme lording, let's just start a new game. In easy mode, obviously. It begins with a basic dungeon tutorial. You travel from room to room with a risk of battle at every turn. You can get ambushed by attackers, and you have to fend them off. Sometimes you find treasure. Sometimes that treasure is trapped with status effects like bleed or blight that lower your health over time. Fantastic. We'll go over this in greater detail in a moment, but first, let's get to the Hamlet. The Hamlet is pretty much your base of operations, and there's a lot you can do here once everything is unlocked. You can recruit new adventurers, improve their gear, heal them, mourn the ones that are already dead, that sort of thing. From there, you embark on expeditions with a crew of 4. The goals of these expeditions can vary, but you'll usually end up with the goal of exploring rooms or fighting enough enemies. These enemies can range from humans to eldritch abominations. Hope you're prepared for that. Well, I guess you would be, depending on who you recruited. There are 15 different classes of... well, sometimes these characters are referred to as heroes, but nah, ain't nothing heroic about these kids. Except Houndmaster.
Hey, how y'all... Get your fucking dog, bitch! It don't bite. Yes, it do! Get the...
Look, he heals himself by hugging his dog. That's so cute. Aside from him, what? No, I can make jokes about all of them. Don't worry about it. Lightning round. Victor Zsasz, Captain Hook, Warrior Nun, Valkyrie, me in 30 years, the Sun Guy from Dark Souls, Deadshot, me in 50 years, that chick from Horizon Zero Dawn, Shaggy and Scooby, definitely, a walking scarecrow, literally any clown that murders people but a jester. Big Boss, SCP-049, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going. I tried. Since this is an RPG, there are plenty of variables to consider when embarking. Each adventurer has positive and negative quirks that affect them both in battle and exploration. Like, maybe they can do more damage in a certain quest location, but their hits become less accurate if their HP gets too low. These quirks can be removed or improved for a price, but often that price is quite high, and I was content to ignore most of them. Except one. Kleptomaniac. This adds a possibility that your adventurer will open up a bag of loot and decide to keep it for themselves. And nothing pisses me off like the thought of people taking my stuff. Fuck the expense, shove that bitch in the sanitarium, and don't let them out until they can keep their hands to themselves. Anyway, there are other things to consider, like their stats, resistances to blight, bleeding, getting stunned, or what trinkets they have equipped that improve said stats. And as a professional idiot, having to worry about all these variables only confused me. So I did what I always do and didn't take it seriously unless a boss was involved. See, you're given a list of bosses to defeat, and these bosses require some strategic thinking and preparation to take down. And one thing you should always be prepared for is stress. Just like college. As your recruits travel through various dungeons, they'll grow more stressed, and anything can stress them out, really. Fighting certain enemies, low torch lighting, or reading something disturbing. Some enemies even have attacks that raise stress. And if one person's stress gets too high, then they'll either become determined and wreck the enemy's shit, or more likely freak the fuck out and raise everyone else's stress. Like vampires, but instead of taking blood, they take good vibes. There are a few ways to relieve stress in town, but of course, it's never that simple. Some recruits will refuse to use certain methods, and the really annoying ones will only relieve stress in one way, which is an expensive quirk to remove. You can send your adventurers to the tavern to drink, gamble, or... Really, these people are badass fighters and adventurers, but the only way they can get some is by paying for it? Actually, yeah, I get it. That's pretty unfortunate, dude. There's also the Abbey, where they can pray, meditate, or... oh dear. By flagellation, you don't mean... oh no, they do mean... oh, that's fucked, bro. It's not just the dungeons that are dark, yikes. I guess that's the main theme of the game, in a way. Pain and suffering, you know? Because it's really hard, and you're gonna suffer because of that. Well, unless you play on easy and ignore all the idiots that chant get good like it'll summon a demon who might actually care about how good they are at video games. I just want to have fun, dude. And I did, actually. Sometimes thinking strategically can be enjoyable. The things you have to consider when entering a dungeon make the game more interesting. Like, how many torches or food to bring? When should you have your adventurers camp in a dungeon so they can heal or relieve stress? What makes the most sense for team composition? Where should everyone be placed? The placement does actually matter, by the way. It's both intriguing and infuriating. The team explores the dungeon in a line formation, and depending on their position in the line, a character might not be able to perform certain attacks or do anything at all. This gets quite annoying when your team gets surprised by an ambush and gets scrambled out of order. On the other hand, the positioning of your enemies is important too. Attacks can only hurt certain positions depending on what kind of attack it is. This can lead to problems even when an enemy is dead, because they leave their nasty-ass corpses just lying around. You can either wait for them to vanish or attack their remains to make it go away. Or you can use certain attacks to move their positions.
Get over here!
Fair warning, they can do that to you too. Once you play for long enough, you'll get used to their typical attack patterns. Like, this shitheel with the cup is going to inflict a bunch of stress, this guy's probably gonna shoot everyone, and this guy's gonna guard a weaker creature on his team and be a total dick about it. You learn how to manage these things over time, and I found it pretty enjoyable. It's hard, but it's fun. Overall, I think Darkest Dungeon is a great game. There are many challenges to overcome when playing it, but the game makes it interesting to do so. You should check it out, even if it's not on sale. But I won't blame you if you wait for a discount. We're all broke these days. It's so stupid. Okay, so... October 17th is less than 3 months away. If you play this game high, then it's the dankest dungeon. That's not even an original joke. Okay. I'm gonna keep making weird, pointless videos whenever the ceiling leaks, but I hope y'all are having a good summer. Yeah. It's not even that funny. So if you want to see what's next, subscribe, and the next review will be posted soon. I promise. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Dankest dungeon. That's so stupid. Fucking loud ass cicadas. What is this, an anime?